companies jumped in, and they were one of the first companies to jump in last year too. One of the first, what I mean by that is they have always been one of those companies, like I said even before, who don't intentionally make forward moves in terms of new features. They tried, they see, and then they implement mostly. And you can see this every year's update. Even a bit about Apple introduced in the event. Um, Now the conclusion is clear. They have a actually big problem regarding that, and the best possible answer is that right now is that Apple is still struggling and will be struggling for till the next year. I think most probably. The reason I'm telling this is because of how Apple responded overall in the event. Now I haven't seen the press conferences, or I haven't seen the any kind of new discussions from their own executives, like how Tom's guide is one of the person who does it, like he did it also in the WWDC this year too. So I think that he had an interview with them, and we get some answers regarding Apple Intelligence, at least some answers, because we are not getting it right now in here. Now Apple traditionally has, like I said before, is a classic marketing strategy, and their whole marketing strategy, or even in their products, you can see is Apple do it in their own way, and Apple does is it in the best way possible, and that's what people talk about. Like Apple always makes a polished product. Apple always makes whatever they are introducing the best, like how the calculator app, it became such a big meme over the years, and now this year when they dropped it, you know not this year, last year, sorry, when the last year they just dropped the calculator app, people were gone crazy, not because it was just because of basic calculator app. They did their own app, they in their own way. So it is kind of a big deal. So you see, it is somewhat of a true, and you can see on their majority of the products that whatever they do their best. Even in AirPods, they have one of the best transparency modes, one of the best noise cancellation modes. The sound quality is actually good. Even in the iPhone, the cameras, the videos are still to this days are insane, even from the older models. So you can just see how Apple's marketing strategy works, and they have been working on. When the last year they talked about Apple Intelligence in the WWDC, and even talked about in the event when they launched iPhone 16, they did a mistake, of launching something on the basis of promise, and they did not cover it. People waited, people talked about it, even I made a video on it, even I talked about it in the podcast, and still to this day a year has been passed, and Apple still don't know what they are we still don't know what Apple is going into the trajectory. Now we obviously know they will get into Apple Intelligence. I thought we were getting some concrete evidence, at least in a way, where Apple is going on. Now from this whole condition, from this whole talk I had, I think the only conclusion that can came is that they are in actual bad position in terms of AI. And what they did, I think, frankly, is the best example I will say is the classic marketing strategy or classic Apple's event. Like they gone back to the basics. Even in the WWDC, they did not promise something overwhelming or something totally different that they can't do. They did event like they used to do it for years, and they still did the same type of event in the iPhone 17's launch. So I think Apple did not take risk, which is again good for the company, good for not promising something that is never coming up. Now they did promise one feature from Apple Watch, that is high notification, something kind of it, which is again not approved by FDA, which they have said that it has been approved by FDA. So that's there, but you can see the how Apple does it. So I think in future Apple will be behind in terms of AI, in terms of features, whatever they are going to introduce. I think they are going to use the same strategy they are using for years now. The same strategy where they will see what other companies are doing, adapt the best feature according to their ecosystem, and do it better, and not trying to do something where they are first. I don't think even Apple even care of doing like they are the first company to do this, they are first company to do that. So that is a strategy I think Apple is and will be using for future in terms of Apple Intelligence at least. They are holding back, let other companies do whatever they want, let go whatever the insane features they want to introduce in terms of AI. Even Samsung may do it, and they will hold back this year. And in the next year, in the next WWDC, I think hopefully they will announce full-fledged Apple Intelligence features, full-fledged Siri, where they promised last year. I think that is what is going to happen because again, like I said, this strategy they are going to use. Take two steps back and try to do everything good, not trying to rush anything. A classic Apple strategy where they have been doing it for years, like I said before too. My future predictions regarding Apple Air is that it is going one or two way. One is it can be the mini version. So basically, what happened with iPhone minis? Basically, nobody just bought it, nobody liked it, but there were different reasons people to not like mini. It was is first of all is small displays, even though mini was kind of an even the iPhone SE models were smaller. People didn't want a smaller model, people wanted a cheaper model than the 17 base. And I hope that I know that iPhone Air is not that, but I think if people who want a different kind of giving them a design factor in terms of how feel is, look is, I do feel people will buy Air. But if they don't double down in terms of like if there is no long-term plan, just like what they did with the mini series, and I don't think even they care. Like even if they had like say long-term plan with the Air, I hope they they will just like trash it, just like what they did with the mini, just like what they did with the SE series. Now the base, now they are also working. Now they are also working on the iPhone 16e series, and right now E series that is kind of a cheaper version than the base model, which is again kind of a, let's say I wanted the Air version to be between iPhone Pro and iPhone 17 base model basically, and it is in between that, but there is a lot of gap. The 17 is still at a really high price, and I hope that in future when we get newer models and just like fold and flip, I don't think they are going to be in terms of budget smaller, in terms of price less than the 17 base. When you introduce more and more models, the 17 price will drop so much, and not drastically I feel like, but 17 price will drop and the 16 will get at I think 4 or 399. When I think if Apple starts their models of phones from 399, I think they have one of the most best lineups then, like what Samsung has for years. There is a reason why Samsung phones are everywhere. They have their flagship series everywhere, like Samsung S series, like edition models, SE series. They have also, special edition. You can talk about Samsung F series, fan edition. Basically, they have Samsung S25, S25 Ultra. Then they have their M series, A series, S. So has one of the best lineups in the industry too for years now, not just now. So I think if Apple comes into that category where I feel like the 16e is the cheapest, then the 16, the basically the E model of the versions are the cheapest, then the base model, then the Air, then I will say the foldable ones, basically the flip phone, then I will say the Pro, and the last one will be the most I will say the expensive, that is the Fold, which Samsung also has. So I think Apple is working. I think that is the lineup what Apple will be working on for now for 1 or 2 years. Considering Air, depending upon people perceive it or people like it or not, I will definitely say Air is one of the phones that people will look and in terms of feel will buy it because it has a bigger display. People love bigger display rather than small. I have seen it. The audience for small mini phones was already not kind of big. People don't. It's not that people hate it. The thing is sometimes having bigger displays kind of helps in terms of interacting with the phone. So I think iPhone Air will work out for them for a majority part better than I will say the mini series and SE series. Now the Air will last longer. I don't know because we need to see the reviews. At least like next couple of months are crucial for it. And if Air works, I think they will keep the Air upgrading every year until and unless the new flips and foldable comes, which is again not far away. I think thinking that they are making the are making smaller and smaller phones with the air, we have seen why what they can do. So I think we can get much more bigger updates in next 2 years from Apple side in terms of Apple intelligence, obviously, which they have tried to ignore and which they have tried to stay kind of an two steps behind of everyone, which is not a bad position because they don't want to be in the position what they were in the last year, promise something and not deliver, and that is bad for the company and bad for the reputation of the company. They don't want to repeat that same mistake, and I'm glad they did it. But I was hoping for it to be this year to be their year of AI, at least promise and deliver the things they at least promised last year. But they did not. But at least let's see what happens next year. Next year, I'm predicting most probably we will get Apple Intelligence that they have promised in last year in 2024. We will get in 2026. We will get, I think, the new upgrade version of Air, and we can get the new Vision Pro next year or the Fold. I think I don't know about Fold because Fold is kind of a too big of a leap. We can also can get the new uh, Fold will be 27, 27, 2027 most probably I will say. Next year I think we will get the new Pro models, and because they have other models to explore because they haven't there is not much of a big upgrade in terms of Apple AirPods Max even in Apple watches. So I hope in future like in next year we get those updates, they don't miss out. And let's see, because there are other product line too from Apple side, that is like I said MacBook Air, MacBooks, then there are iPad, then there is screen iMacs they call it. Then yeah, these are some of the they need to much more talk about in future. We will see. I think we will get one couple of event in next 2 or 3 months from now when the sales and the events are toned down, and then we will get another event just before the Samsung one. I think we will get it in December as far as I can predict. I'm not saying it will happen. So that's there. So I think that's are my overall thoughts regarding the Apple new event. You know, like I said, concluding everything is I think I'm good. I am happy that they are going at the basics and giving us powerful cameras, powerful displays, like the solid phone what we need, and not promising or promising everything, you know. So let's see what happens in next couple of months. I'm excited for next year. I hope I get to try a couple of new phones. Like I said, if I upgrade, I will definitely upgrade to the Pro version and the Max Pro version, and I will definitely try to get my hands-on feel with the Air one too. So that's it. My thoughts regarding Apple event and the whole my thoughts regarding it.